The anime starts by telling a story that happened 400 years ago, when human beings were at the height of their prosperity, but many of their hearts were filled with hate, doubt, deceit, and slowly humans sank into darkness. A darkness created by their bad intentions. They tried to correct their mistakes by using the same power of darkness. They wanted to end the war in order to live in peace. However, they understood the reality of the world that people had built and they decided to punish humans for their sins. So mysterious, how can a thing human had created bring their society to brink of destruction? But before it got destroyed, somehow, light broke through earth and reached the seventh heaven. A creature was born from light in that day, something that looks like a man with a giant sword. Two different creatures made of two opposite things, light and darkness. So they quickly realized that we're enemies made to fight each other, and shall the winner runs the world. The fight started, it led to the destruction of many continents and the death of millions of people, but the Light Dragon won at the end. This battle was written in history as a legend. As the time passed, it changed into something else. People forgot the story. Back to now, the kingdom Mita-Dekana is under attack by the followers of the late evil wizard, Dark Schneider, who call themselves the Dark Rebel Army. All the soldiers outside fight in order to protect the Princess Sheila, who is in the cathedral with all the other citizens since it's the safest place for them to hide. One of the soldiers comes and tells them that's a matter of time before the enemy breaks through their door, the thing which made Yoko think about what the priest once told her. He taught her a secret spell which has the power to release a certain entity that has been sealed away by very dangerous and secret power. The reason why she must not use it except for one reason. She can only apply what she learned to save the kingdom. The spell says by using it, the hidden personality of the boy Lucien will come out, and it belongs to the great wizard Dark Schneider. By breaking the seals of the spell, the great wizard will be reborn, and it will happen only by the first kiss of a virgin, so she has to stay single and sacrifice her personal life for the safety of her hometown. The princess asks for more details, but Yoko refused to say anything since it's an embarrassing thing. When the enemy arrived to the room and they even got many people injured, she got herself ready and kisses Lucien. Suddenly the boy's body changed and he became Schneider, the most powerful wizard in the whole world. Osborn, the leader of the Dark Rebel Army, after the death of all his soldiers, he says that he follows his great leader and they will destroy the Mita-Dekana kingdom using the most powerful spell in the world, the Thunderbell spell. However, the wizard with his unbeatable skills used the Venom spell and kills him with no mercy. It turns out later that he does this to impress Yoko, his friend, and he leaves the castle right after killing Osborn. She follows him to the outside where he reveals to her that he will kill her father the priest because 15 years ago he helped getting him defeated in front of the four lords of Havoc and sealed his soul in Lucien's body. But before this, he kissed her and gets surprised when the spell got reversed by kissing, and Lucien is back again. The four lords of Havoc discover the presence of someone who can use the Venom spell, and they decide to be careful in their next move. They send the wizard Kibidabu in the next day. Yoko wakes up and sees the black clouds getting closer. It was obviously a bad luck charm. So her father takes her and Lucien to the castle where the king asks her to summon the Black Schneider. Again, after kissing her friend, the Dark Schneider comes out, but this time he refuses protecting the castle and plans to take his revenge from the priest, and then he will control the world. He created a monster to attack her father, but suddenly Kibidabu enters the castle with his seven-headed dragon asking for a fight. Schneider stopped the process of killing the priest and decided to kill the enemy first, but it is obvious that Schneider's monster is way stronger than the dragon, and the battle was meant for humans since the beginning. After defeating Kibidabu, he decides to continue what he already started and kill the priest, but Yoko stopped him, and after realizing his love to her, she kissed him again and brings back the little child to life. Somewhere else, Gaara discussed the death of Kibidabu, and he is now sure about the return of the Dark Schneider. Gaara starts telling the story which happened 15 years ago, when the wizard led them in their journey to control the world. The war lasted for 4 years, but for some reason he's now protecting the kingdom instead of helping them. All the soldiers of the Dark Rebel Army wonder why this change happened, so they decide to find the reason. In the castle, the priest explains why the clouds are getting darker. The four lords of Havoc are trying to wake up the Lord of Darkness up. She is sealed with 4 seals that are keeping her away from destroying humanity. By breaking off the seals, she will send black clouds everywhere, and what's happening is proving this. There are 4 kingdoms. The first seal was with Judah's kingdom, but the Lord of Havoc could get it and the humanity is in danger again. Abigail and Kelso, the old friend of Schneider, are planning to get the second seal from the kingdom of Mita-Dekana, and the attack will start in the day after. At night, and while the soldiers of each side are preparing themselves for the war, Gaara sneaks into Yoko's room and while she's sleeping with Lu Xie, she could feel the breath of someone strange in the room, so she asks him to leave. The man doesn't listen and shows serious intention of hurting her, but suddenly the boy wakes up, his voice is strange, and it seems like Schneider is the one who's talking. The wizard reveals that he can control the boy's body since the seal has been broken twice, the thing which shocked Gaara. Sooner after that, the priest Yoko's father comes in, so the intruders manage breaking the wall and flees with the girl. The emperor and the priest, in addition to all the soldiers of the kingdom, gather to find a way to save Yoko. The only person who knows Gaara's fortress is located is Schneider, but they can't summon him since it happens only by Yoko's kiss, or a virgin girl's one. And as they think about another solution, the Princess Shayla volunteers because she is a virgin, and by kissing Lu Xie, she can summon Dark Schneider, and it works. However, this time a huge change in his personality is so obvious, they barely convince him to go look for his girl. In the ninja base, Gaara puts Yoko in an empty well, trying to know how to break the seal on Dark Schneider. But she refused to say anything for two reasons. The first one is because Gaara and the four lords of Havoc want to turn him into the path of evil and destruction, and the second one is because the secret how to break the seal is way too embarrassing to be said to such a man. At the same time, Schneider and the princess with all his servants are on their way to base. Back to the base where he tells Yoko the love story of Schneider and the girl who loved him. Then he starts filling the well with a slime, which will dissolve her clothing slowly. As Schneider and the team arrive to the base, he decides to go straightly from the main gate, and as they get closer, he hears Yoko's voice clearly asking for help, so he destroys the door. The princess and Dark Schneider decide to go to Yoko, while the other soldiers fight with the ninja guards. On their way, they find a sword which Shayla takes off, but it turns out that it's poisoned and she accidentally hurt Schneider. He asks her to suck the poison out of his body. While she's doing that, a fire monster named Efreet comes out of the sword. On the other side, Gaara explained to Yoko the 4 types of magic, and how the wizard has no chance in front of the monster, because Schneider used magic based on fire and light, that his opponent Efreet is an elemental from the plane of fire, which means he's immune to fire spells, and all the fire spells only make him stronger. Schneider protects the princess by a magical shield, and she suggests using cold spells, but unfortunately the man knows none of them. And then he decides to move. He keeps Shayla under the shield and runs toward the monster. He used his fires and mixed them with the monster's spell, and created the fire of Gehenna, which burned Efreet to ash. Then he takes the sword of fire, which even Gaara couldn't hold. He takes his way to his human, and after seeing how Gaara took off her clothes, he gets so angry and starts beating him with no mercy. Unfortunately, Gaara is not as feeble as everybody thinks. He could make Schneider bleed from one head. A sword fight gets started, and they both lose their arms. They start bleeding, and for a moment they seem to be so equal, until Schneider's anger pushes him to use the most powerful spell he has, the thing which led to the destruction of the castle. Gaara gets shocked, but at the same time impressed how strong his opponent is, so he decides to work on his side and no more fights. After the buildings collapse, they all figure out how Schneider saved all the ones who were inside. Something changed indeed in his personality, from being selfish to carrying everybody around. It must have been a long journey. Kasu orders the Lord Ashine, one of the 3 Lords of Havoc, to kill Dark Schneider and Gaara, who deserted them. Suddenly, while she lies on her couch, in an eye blink she finds herself in a place close to be called Heaven. It was the place where she met Dark Schneider for the first time. As she walks a little, the wizard appears and gets closer to her. It reminds her of the days when they were in love 100 years ago. He tries to touch her while asking her to stay away from the 4 Lords of Havoc, but she refused and explains that she's now considered as his enemy and she will kill him whenever she finds the chance. The love between them vanished away long time ago. After this, the illusion went away. Ashine orders Shinare to kill Dark Schneider instead, since she can't leave her castle. In the forest, while the wizard walks, he sees a girl running away from a huge spider, so he jumps to save her. The girl is so nice, and she invites him for dinner to thank him for the brave thing he did, and after the dinner, he decides to spend the night in her house. In the middle of the night, and while he's lying on his bed, the girl comes into his room and tries to attract him to do something bad with her. It seems like he fell in the trap, so she puts a magical piece of paper on his back to summon a big spider that takes off his head. It turns out that the girl Shinare in disguise, and she planned for all this. But the man she saw on bed was just an illusion, and the real Dark Schneider stands right behind her back. But when he tells her that she is beautiful, the girl seems to fall in love with him. Ashine gets informed that her loyal servant betrayed her, so she decides to send someone else. Kariarn with dozens of monsters attack Schneider, while soon after this they find themselves alone and face to face with 2 swords. The girl puts a spell of petrification that can't be removed by normal magic. Schneider starts transforming to a petrified statue, and Kariarn decides to kill him, but Shinare comes to save him. Schneider starts becoming a person that people like, and this is totally different from his past when they all used to hate him. The end of the story is unclear, and darkness may win just as much as light. If you guys like the video, stay tuned for the second part.